Welcome to the Music Professor channel. Loki's just under my piano stool here, licking his paw. There was a quiz on the channel earlier today about the culture wars of the mid-19th century between the music of the future camp that was represented by radicals like Liszt and Wagner, and the absolute music camp. This was a group that formed around Brahms and Joachim. Brahms and Joachim had written a manifesto in 1860 complaining about the excesses of the music of the future camp. Liszt in particular, Brahms was horrified by what he saw as Liszt's formlessness, I think, and the idea that you get with Liszt, that virtuosity itself becomes a key agent in his music. These are old arguments. What I would say now about Liszt is that the virtuosity itself is so expressive and astonishing, and the way that Liszt reinvented the piano as a coloristic instrument in the most ferociously imaginative, poetic way is just fabulous. But for Brahms, it was a terrible thing. It was an excess that got in the way of the important issues, the ancient principles of counterpoint, thematic development, classical form, all these things that Brahms took very, very seriously, and he was right to do so. And these things dominate his own work in a wonderful way. You know, every person has their own area of interest, and Brahms was therefore identified with a more conservative attitude. Interestingly, his music, though, has its own radical tendencies, I think. One of the wonderful comments on the channel pointed out that Schoenberg wrote a fascinating article many years later called Brahms the Progressive, in which he rightly points out that there are radical and progressive tendencies in Brahms's music, and Brahms's music is wonderful. I mean, I love Brahms.